Hey, friends and family. Hey, loved ones. Hey, how's it going? So, wow, I can't even believe it's been a whole month since I recorded my last video. I put it up like 3 weeks ago, but I actually recorded it on June 12th. That was the day that I was going to be holding a summer solstice circle at my home, and I decided to cancel it a couple days before because I had injured my back a little bit. I had like an old injury flare back up again, and that was interesting. And so I was just being asked to let a lot of things go, like things that like just little things that I'd been attached to, things that like I really want, to do or want to choose for myself, but actually I needed to clear some space so that I could choose and receive something else. And so it's just, wow, just so much letting go, letting go, letting go, letting go for the last 2.5 years, really. And just shedding all these layers and shedding all this skin and going through this epic death of the ego, his shamanic death and rebirth. And it's just been so intense. But yeah, just doing my best to trust the process. And sometimes I'm really, really in it. When I'm in it, I'm in it. And then sometimes I just kind of want to step out of it for a little bit and take a break and distract myself and numb out sometimes because I'm so tired and exhausted from everything I'm processing and psychically processing, transforming, or like, yeah, some of my old ways of going about it, some of the methods. I used a lot of energy, and that's okay, but like, yeah, now it's like kind of what's being asked is just to drop the resistance and not need to fix anything, because it all is like um, coming into being in its own divine ways. And sometimes the only thing love is asking me is to allow like it to move through me, allow me to be moved. And so, yeah, it has been interesting. It's been an interesting journey, especially this last month has gone by so fast, and it's been like a really great summer. And I'm still, yeah, I'll just ask what wants to be shared about that. I have been back from a fun vacation for about a week, been back home, settling back in, doing my best to kind of like, yeah, get back into the swing of things, or maybe not get back, but maybe move forward and establish some new habits and routines. So I'd been gone for 2 weeks. My husband and we went to Oregon, and we got to stay really close to the ocean and right next to this river in Brookings, which is on the border, like really close to California. It's in Oregon. And so my husband and I got to take a lot of amazing walks on the beach and in the forest, and got some really great nature therapy, and just some great time like that we had together. And so, yeah, this is awesome. It was kind of a surprise, spontaneous trip that we decided we can just fit this in. And so it was the longest we've ever been gone from home. And so it was an interesting, like, reset. And I super enjoyed our travels and our adventures and the things that we learned while we were away, while we were, yeah, in a new place. And, yeah, I took some notes about some things, and I started to notice a couple things about like how liberating it can be, and how it is like when we're in an unfamiliar place, and when we're on vacation, and when we have like the eyes of the child of wonder and awe, and like just that unborn mind of the Buddha, where we don't have any preconceived notions. We're in a mysterious place, and just enjoying that, feeling that aspect of the mystery of what is possible here, and what do we get to choose, and what do we feel drawn to, and all that. And so, yeah, that's really fun. And so I did really notice that there is some kind of power that the archetype of the outsider holds in those ways, where if you're just kind of traveling or wandering, yeah, like a stranger in a strange land, there is a little bit more freedom to stay open or be open to what comes. So I did take a few notes about that and was contemplating that a little, but it seems like I've been so busy. I have these thoughts and I'll just jot like some of them down, and then I plan on like expanding on them. And then there's so much more that comes in. So we'll see like how it all ties in together. But I did super enjoy shaking it up, getting out of like familiar routines, and kind of inviting, more joy, play, and spontaneity. And so what I wrote down, the other day was, there is some interesting power to be found in working with the archetype of the outsider, the traveler, and the wanderer. And I realized this on our trip to Oregon as I took on that tourist vacation persona. It was way more relaxed, casual, easy, being in an unfamiliar place without established routines or rigidities, old habits, familiar structures, or the usual surroundings. And sometimes, like, get so comfortable in our comfort zones because of our unconscious resistance to change. And so opening up to possibility and adventuring, the newfound freedom of letting go of attachments, fears, expectations, because it's all new. The false standards of enoughness, being in a different place is pretty liberating because it is unknown. So false standards of enoughness or distorted ideas of perfection. And so dropping all of those old beliefs and old stories and old roles, old descriptions. So it's so damn liberating to let go of all these old blocks and falsities that kept me from loving and accepting my whole self, that kept me from loving and accepting me and we, and life and her fullness, our legit totality, allowing myself to be alive and experience divine oneness internally, beingness. And so, a lot of these themes about letting go and the full moon energy of this Capricorn full moon that's happening Wednesday, super moon that like I'm already feeling into last week, where I had some interesting sleep disturbances and just got to receive and allow and accept being uncomfortable, letting go of my own preferences and what I wanted, and my false sense of control. So intense, just let go. Letting go of resistance, allowing acceptance and non-acceptance to be one part of the same unified thing. Allow love to fully live and lead me and we. Letting go of resistance to my perceived vulnerabilities. Consciously receiving the love I need for me. Emanating my own signature frequencies to change the game of this reality. I'm thinking about 2020 and conversations or interactions, debates and exchanges, arguments and agreements that I had on Facebook with friends, strangers, acquaintances, and family. It's kind of going over and rehashing and looking at all those misperceptions, the distortions, the judgments, the errors, the hyper-emotional wound defenses of the pain body and the ego identity attachments, the assumptions that were made, the witch hunts, the well-meaning or well-intentioned tyrannical opinions, hypocritical ideologies, and self-righteous crusades of the one right way, knee-jerk reactions to the sleeping masses unconsciously propping up illegitimate authority through fear, intimidation, and manipulation, myths and program stories, mental slavery and shut down internal hearts and voices, instinct, injury, overcompensation, and misdirection of creative energy, the roots of self-deception, complexes and projections, the one against itself, the separate self, the cut-off self, compartmentalization, self-denial, self-abuse, self-rejection, fragmentation, misdirected attention, perpetual conflict, and suffering. And seeing more into those things of how we do get sucked in and hooked into the black and white, and see everything as either or. And then a lot of it has to do with just conditioning and programming and protecting or defending ourselves, and this wounded part of our psyche, which is the wounded child, which can be the guard and the tyrant and the ego, like the ego that's had to turn into something unrecognizable, like to guard itself, and then it imprisons itself, and then it tells itself what it is, and has to keep reinforcing that. And so there's always like these survival strategies and this carrot on the stick, and we're never okay where we are because there's always something to prove. And that's like speaking for myself. Been able to uncover some of these things by just witnessing and allowing and accepting. So, just this is a total review. And I see clearly through like some of these old strategies and learned ways of being. So some of my major drives and motivations, like to survive, my survival strategies or my ego strategies, to be right, to be liked, to be worthy, to survive, to be seen as worthy of belonging, to be safe, stable, to secure my place, to be loved, to be included, to be cared for, and to meet my well-being's needs, to feel secure, to feel certain, and to feel safe in the way that I could predict things, or that things would be predictable. And my habits were to always scan around for things, to fix things, to make them easier, to make them more pleasant, pleasing, safe, or comfortable. And really what that was my avoidance strategies, to avoid confrontation, conflict, and dis-ease. So it was always like trying to smooth things over, make them okay, make them feel good. And so I mean, all those things, they're nothing new to me. I've been aware of them for a while, but like I've been able to see a little bit more of the patternings and how to step out of those patterns. And a lot of those core desires were to be validated and to be needed and to be desired and to be enough, to be heard, felt, seen, to be valued, and to be understood. So I was starving for love, inclusion, and acceptance, wholeness, and belonging. What I really wanted was allowance, peace, and freedom. Freedom to be authentic and loyal and true to me, honoring my integrity and my full well-being. And so I had some conflicts about how to do that. Had to let go of pleasing or convincing or changing anyone else. And so I just got to focus that attention and energy on myself by going within. And so after I'd written all of these things, just because they'd been coming up for me, I actually was drawn to a video from a woman that I haven't really listened to, but it was just there in my kind of recommendations or whatnot. And I was just like, why not? Let's look at that. And so I actually did super appreciate it, and I took some notes because it relates to all of these things that I'm looking into. And I'll put the link in the description box for this video. But really quickly, I'll just share 7 things that I wrote down. And so it was Carrie Kay and her 7 ascension markers. And one was dropping resistance, clears the space and makes the room for true being and divine collaborating and co-creating. By connecting with yourself more, you naturally disengage with the false matrix, which is the external drama or the external story, the circus that's playing outside. Yeah, out on the outer stage there. So we disengage with the false matrix, the external drama that we were very invested in, and we lose interest in it. We disengage and we start emitting rather than absorbing. 2, we have less unconscious triggers and hooks, and that like false ego or identity control. Less unconscious attachments. We're dissolving false control and letting go of that forceful need to dominate anything. So if we are no longer triggered by external reality, we are more self-aware and we stop perpetuating drama, conflict, and suffering. So 3, a new relationship with time, unplugging from the old paradigm, being rather than having or doing, or trying to exert our own control, which is actually coping mechanisms. We're seeing things as they are. And so this quote just came to me: if the doors of perception were really cleansed, were truly cleansed, we would see things as they really are, infinite. 4, quiet and stillness, inner exploration, neutrality, inner journey. And that reminded me of the hermit, the returning to one whole. 5, silence, the wisdom in the silence, fullness and connection. Yes, commitment, presence, deepening, unity is 6. And 7, self-realization, fullness, radiance, self-mastery, beingness, and embodiment, soul embodiment. And so there has been some interesting things that have been going on with time and some thoughts that I've had. And I've just written a couple things down the last couple days. And there's so much to unlearn. There's so much to let go of. There's so much that I absorbed, so much I took hold of. There's so much programming, so much conditioning, so much propaganda, so much indoctrinating, so much nonsense, so many lies, so many stories, so many binds, so many hooks and ties, all unraveling and coming apart. The glue it no longer works, it no longer sticks. It's such a strange time. And so, yeah, I've been noticing that in certain ways, like how that's coming up in my life and how I am less triggered, like a lot less triggered. That doesn't mean that there aren't certain things that come up and I feel anger over, or disgust over, or like, that I don't like fall into judgment over or things like that. But I do become aware of, when I do, like I am in judgment or whatnot, and then I can just like allow it, just witness and like just drop those or not be attached to those and just observe them and see like more clearly into what's being offered or what the invitation is for me. So, it's been a good and busy week since we've been back home from our trip. We've had appointments, commitments, projects, tasks, activities, social outings, pleasantries, and there has been some discomfort and uncertainty. I'm feeling sensitive and detached, and sometimes insensitive and attached. And so, it's kind of interesting, like how our inner and our outer work, they both relate, and they're both absolutely like necessary to come into this new balance and harmony. And they're not separate, like they both relate to each other. And so like the inner work of self-mastery, becoming aware of our thoughts, our feelings, our stories, our patterns, our behavior, our actions, our desires, our fears, all those things, getting to know ourselves and getting to know certain voices that do speak to us through ourselves, because these are parts of ourselves, and integrating and harmonizing and purifying, like, and accepting and including all those parts of ourselves, integrating those parts of ourselves for wholeness, and to empower ourselves and to empower others and to be and live our lives in the best ways, in the fullest ways that we can, like, because this has been given to us to realize, with real eyes, to see to see ourselves as we really, really, really are. And we are like so loved. We are loved. We are loving. We are loved. And that's like the main message. I am here. Love is here. Life is here. So be here. Be here. Presence. I open my heart wider and I am safe right here. And so she let go. She let go of control. She let go of every thought and everything she had ever known. She let go to be free. She let go of the known so she could receive the gift of her legit inner knowing and allow flourish. Oh, and allow love to flourish and flow. It was a good day and I did all I wanted to do. So thank you for all my choices, all my relations, and all these blessings, gifts, miracles, friends, loved ones, teachers, reflections, and companions. Thank you for right relationship with myself and all my relations. All my relationships are harmonious. I choose loving relationships. So our outer work, is, through that relationship that we have. So the inner work is that relationship that we have with ourself and with our Creator and with God, with love, with everything that's within us. And our outer work is to do, with all of the relationships that we have, all the relationships that we have with all of life and the whole collective and the whole, our families, our friends, our loved ones, our teachers, our familiars, the people who teach us a lot of different things about ourselves, about what we're not claiming for ourselves sometimes, or what we're denying for or of ourselves. We can see so many things. So I think relationships are one of the best gifts, like, to help us, because it can mirror a certain relationship that we have with an aspect of ourselves. And it's so helpful to see that sometimes, because how else would we be able to see the unconscious at work, that's through sometimes, like, if we pay attention more to certain things, preferences, we can see, like, our preferences or our prejudices, we can see, like, how we're projecting a lot of shit onto the external. And sometimes that is, like, good qualities that we love, admire, like our power and our purity. And sometimes it's, like, on the other side of the spectrum, like, with things that are corrupt and are not aligned in truth or of love. And sometimes we project that onto others as well. And so it is, like, such a good mirror and a good window to see into. And I've learned so much about, like, inner dynamics and some things that were going on internally, some internal conflicts. It helped me so much to see those. I wouldn't have been able to see those if they wouldn't have emerged in my external, like, reality and through my relationships with others, with people who were close to me. And so even though those things were painful, I'm really grateful, because they helped me to correct some errors that I didn't realize I was playing into. And it was just, it was time for me to look into and to allow and accept and to make the room and make the space for transformation and change to come into play and take place. And so there's one more thing I want to share. I've got an appointment I've got to get ready and go to, but I wanted to pop on since it's been such a long time. And we have this full moon in Cappy coming up, and there was a new moon in Cappy in January that I had been inspired to do a burning bowl ceremony for. And now I just feel like it's coming back around, like this is a completion, like, in a sort of way. Like, some of the themes, relatable themes in there, I can totally see learning or stepping into new layers of these lessons, and also completing, some are expanding on deeper levels. And so my thoughts about the new moon and Cappy burning bowls ceremony for letting go of all my old cock blocks, my big butts, and my lower ego control strategies. I'm wanting to look into this for further surrender and integration, transmutation. So this is a full moon of transformation, purification, new activations, upgrades, and transfiguration. It was about 6 months ago in January, about 26 or 27 weeks ago, and so I feel like so much relates to this current energy for this full supermoon in Cappy. All is right to be. Yeah, one of the things, and I had to watch that yesterday again because it'd been 6 months, and it is. So I realized today that I am no less than or greater than any one thing. The spiders, the lizards, the bears, birds, and bees. I am a part of this great mystery, this great living tree of life. All we. I have my place, my part, my roles to experience, create, and play. Love always. When life is like a cup of tea, it is all about how you make it. Fire, water, earth, air, ether, and akasha. Trust, let go, and surrender. Transformation, change. All is well. Now remember, all is right to be here. And she let herself go. She let herself surrender. She let go of resistance. She let go of her fears. She let go of her worries. She let go of her false image. She let go of her small self. She let go of her attachments, her stories, labels, descriptions, her aversions, her judgments, her limited beliefs, limiting myths and stories, her rigid dogma, her tribal identity, her inherited patterns, and outdated programming. She let herself go. She let herself off the hook. She freed herself by stepping out of judgment and fears of the unknown. Defense mechanisms. Defense mechanisms that I've been comfortable with. But letting go. So I relax into the I am, the mirror, the twins, the lovers, the tower, the empress, and the hierophant, the witness, the watcher, the architect, the artist, the creator. I know I am. There have been clear moments of non-attachment and cool detachments or feelings of indifference, sometimes compassion fatigue, sometimes just neutrality. So practice non-attachment with care and sensitivity, but don't take things personally, and be aware of my own choices, my feelings, my agendas, intentions, focus, and direction. Be mindful, self-aware, accountable, kind, loving, present, allowing, accepting, receptive, reflective, attentive, trusting. I am. Trusting, present. I am. I am willing. And so I am. So there has been some interesting, synchronicities and things about that. And I would like to share some more about like what I learned on my trip and on my travels and everything. But to offer for today, I just want to say thank you. Thank you for being a part of my life. Thank you for being a reflection. Thank you for helping me to know myself more and for helping me to know you. And thank you for being a part of this and for being a part of the whole. Thank you for being a part of my heart and a part that teaches me about my own soul. And so I love you and I thank you and I bless you and I praise you and I wish you well and I wish you all things you need for your well-being and your wholeness and your healing and revealing all that you need for yourself. So be love for yourself, be well. Okay, I love you. We'll talk to you later and we'll see you for now.